our panel first. You know him and love him from his Saturday Night Live, and now he's Hiller and/or Diller on the new ABC sitcom. Hiller and Diller. Which is it? Hiller, Kevin Nealon, Hiller. How are you, buddy? Good to see you. She's a conservative activist and a founder of the Saviors Alliance for Lifting the Truth. My old job, Christine O'Donnell.
Sorry I took your job.
There you go. She writes the Unzipped column, woo, in the online magazine Salon, Courtney Weaver. Courtney, pleasure to meet you. And as an Oscar-nominated actor, his films include Caddyshack, The Great Santini, and Ghost of Mississippi. His directorial debut is Raising the Ashes. Michael O'Keefe. Michael, pleasure. Kevin, how are you? All right. Well, you know, people always ask me if we like this. Somebody asked me right here today in the Q&A if we like being here on ABC, and I always say yes, and one reason is because they provide a lot of controversy right here at the network. Last year we had Ellen. Well, they've got another show that people are buzzing about. It's called Nothing Sacred, and it's about a hip priest and his talking car, and they solve crimes, apparently.
What channel is that on?
No, it's on our channel. You're on ABC.
All right,
right.
Hiller and Diller's also.
No, they don't solve crimes, but this is a show about a priest, and some of the things that go on in this show, you and I are going to wind up agreeing on this one. This is going to be a first. He contemplates having sex in a motel room, and even more shocking, with a woman. Listen to this. Somebody comes in, a woman asking about advice about abortion, and this is a priest. He tells her, "You're an adult with your own conscience. I can't tell you what to do." Now, this is not the Catholic Church I remember. I was raised Catholic, and the question is this town, Hollywood, and its elite so out of touch they don't know what goes on with Christians and so forth? I mean,
if I were the Catholic Church, I would be dancing in the street about this show. I would be so happy that it would be finally like good PR for them. I mean, it may not be the PR they want, but if I saw Father Ray giving me advice, I'd go back to church. I'd go back to Mass every week.
Well, the reality is clergy is called to teach sound doctrine, and this priest is not. And unfortunately, you know, all throughout history, clergy has done that, not preaching sound doctrine. But the Bible tells us that there's greater condemnation for those who teach if they don't teach according to what God calls us to. But the interesting thing is,
but he's not a real priest.
No, but I'm talking about, you know, unfortunately, there are clergy out there who are like that. But for every
there are clergy out there who are like this? I don't.
No, there should be. There should be clergy like this.
Not there should be. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There shouldn't be.
Well, I would disagree with you just for a second. The thing, if you don't mind.
Of course, go ahead. That's why I'm here, to be disagreed with.
Michael, I'd like to disagree with you for a second.
No.
Kevin, okay.
The thing about it is that, in a sense, it's inappropriate for me to comment on the show because I haven't seen the show. Also, Kevin Anderson's a great actor, Dean Stockwell. I mean, these are really talented people.
That's not the point.
No,
the point
however,
is,
I heard what your point is.
I didn't see the show either.
The advice that he gives, which is that I can't tell you what to do. I like that advice because what he could be saying is, you have to make up your own conscience. I can tell you what the church thinks. Here's what they think. I can't tell you what to do. I mean, and actually, it's not a bad bit of counseling.
Well, if we made up our own conscience, then everybody would be stealing, everybody would be committing adultery. We need absolutes. We need morals to go back to.
Do you?
No, absolutely.
I don't either, quite frankly.
Neither do I, but that's
I know something about our flesh.
Right here. I can tell you something right here before I forget what I'm going to say. And this is pretty good stuff because I've seen the first 5 episodes of this show.
Oh, you have?
Yes. How many have aired?
Yeah, they've aired, I think, 2 of them.
Oh, okay. Well, I've seen the first 2.
Well, you're with the network. You probably got an advanced screen.
I am up in arms about the show just as much as I was up in arms about The Flying Nun. No, it's misleading. It misrepresents the clergy.
Right.
I'm sure that there are women that joined the sisterhood that thought that they would be able to fly, you know, once they got the habit. Nothing, you know.
Right.
I'm sure that
Hey.
Kids were going up on rooftops, jumping off with a habit, nothing, you know? So I think
If Mother
that,
Teresa couldn't get that going, who?
No.
Right.
Well, you got to get the speed going
And some
first on the
parents
ground.
started
Yeah, you get
the parents of these nuns started, you know, then suing the network because their
Yeah.
kids were jumping off the
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, today
Yeah.
that would probably happen.
Absolutely.
But isn't it, don't you think that people should question what they're being taught?
Well, if you're a Catholic, I mean, that's the whole point of the church is, you know, just doctrinaire indoctrination. I don't think it is questioning. I mean, if you...
No, certainly that's not
Maybe
the point of the church, nor is it the point of Christianity. And the point of religion, from my point of view, we might agree on this one. The point of religion is that it should empower you to interpret what you were calling absolutes and doctrines like that. So if a priest is going to say to you, it's your decision, he's right, it is your decision. There is an absolute. I don't think we have to wear it to bed with us.
Did you
But
ever
you
have
should
a
be
nun
around, you know?
just absolutely crack you with a ruler?
Sure, I got the scars to prove it right
yeah,
here.
so do I. And that, I mean, that to me was what the Catholic Church was all about. Is
well,
this is
that's-
what we say.
This is what I'm saying.
Well,
You
that's
better believe it.
religion. And we don't need religion. We need a relationship with God. And too often, in the clergy might have religion, but they don't have a relationship with God. And what ends up, people end up determining their view of God or whether or not they want God in their life
I have
by
a
the actions of the
relationship
church.
with my sponsors that I cannot break.
Be on your soul!
Oh, wow, that's our old Who Has Time to Read. I don't know if we've ever done this on ABC. We do this all the time on cable when a book came out that people don't have time to read. And this one is The Other Woman by Paula Barbieri. You thought it'd be appropriate because, Courtney, now your column on in the internet called Unzipped is all, and one of your themes I know is that you think men are more romantic than women. And this is about, there's a lot of stuff in here about O.J. Let me just say, he's a typical man.
We're going to tell...
He's
Let me-
Mr. Romance, yes.
Let me read some of the things that, for example, she says he opened every phone call with, "Hey, good looking, what's cooking?"
Yeah, that's a nice original statement.
And he closed everyone with, "Don't make me kill you." What about this? When they first made love, he started talking to my breasts as if they were two other girls. "You are beautiful," he said to the right one. Then he kissed the left one and said, "I'm not ignoring you."
Well, I wouldn't actually say OJ is typical of most men, but hopefully not. But I do think that men try to recreate something that they had when they were 18 or 19 years old, and they sort of spend their life looking for that one great love again. And I think they live in an idealistic world, like an illusionary world where romance, they have this perfect idea of what love is, and they don't look at the more pragmatic views of it. And I think women go, when women are romancing somebody or they want to be romanced, they always know what the end result, what they want it to be.
First of
they
all,
look at it
women-
from a very
women-
pragmatic
I'm sorry.
view. Please,
I was just
go
going to say,
ahead.
women don't really know what they're talking about, you know, when it comes to romance and stuff. No, I'm just not kidding. I'm kidding around. No, I have to say that. It's part of the deal. But no, I think men have to be more romantic than women. I think it's been traditionally, you know, the culture that we pursue women, and this is our way of getting them. It's like a lure to win them.
But that's
you know?
only until we get them.
Exactly.
No, that's a good point.
What's the
In that
question?
love, real love, and true romantic gestures should be based on what can I give, not what can I get. And I think it's not necessarily a gender issue. Both men and women are guilty of manipulation in order to get something out of the relationship. But, you know, ironically, I looked up the definition of romance, and it's interesting as to what you said, because it basically is fantasy. It's preferring the imagination over reality. And
right.
basically, if that's romance, I don't want that in my life.
But there's
then.
so much pressure on
But that's
the
not
man.
what romance is.
But there's a colloquial
Why is there so
definition
much
of
pressure on the
romance,
man?
which is, you know, love, doing things out of love. And I think our culture today allows people to have very selfish kind of loves, but that's not what true
But
love
there's,
should
there's
be
so
based
much
on.
pressure on the man to be romantic.
But it shouldn't be.
You
It
know, they
shouldn't
have
be.
these romance novels. The women are always reading the romance novels,
Yes.
and they go to their
Yeah,
boyfriend.
but those are the
husband,
women
and
you
they
want to
think that-
avoid.
And it's based on, and those kind of things are based on a counterfeit love.
And if they're not romantic, then they have to suffer for it later. Like you're in a restaurant and the woman comes around with a basket of roses and she expects you to buy a rose. She puts you on the spot. You never see like a guy coming around with like a bucket of tools and making the girl buy a wrench for the guy.
Now, what you were
That's
gonna,
another thing.
wait a
That's
second.
also-
What is your definition? You said that wasn't
Well,
romance.
that's not it's not a good definition of romance.
But the one from Webster's?
No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
the hell with the dictionary. Let's just
Webster
talk
was
about
not very
it.
romantic.
Yeah, that is a
man.
hot book, Webster.
All he did was sit around write defining
how
words.
would you define it?
Well, I personally, in a sense, I would have to agree with you because from my own experience, I was more romantic in the pursuit of my wife.
Who isn't?
But
You know,
why?
I
Because
called
you
her
wanted
up.
to get something or because you got joy out of giving to her?
Absolutely got joy out of giving.
Well, that's
And I
sweet.
wanted to get a little bit too.
Well, okay.
We'll come back to this subject when we...